Hello, this is Dorothy Smith, and this is the last of The World Is Yours that I'm going to show. This is layout 4, which is a single page layout. And here are the pieces that go along with this page. Those are for the single 4x6 image that's going to go on this. And I cut out some circles, the continents, of North America and South America, and the circle. These are all cut with Cricut cuts that are designated with this particular bundle of The World Is Yours. And what they really suggest is that you cut out the center of that particular piece of paper. I chose to cut out a circle of glacier, and which I'm going to use the light side of it, and also use the paper airplane as the second piece, which would really be covering the whole if you cut the big circle out of the first piece. So I put those together, and since I don't have any texture that comes on the cardstock like you would if you cut the center of that page out that had the branches at the bottom, I am going to add textures using this stamp called Timeless Textures. And you can use these blob, I call them blob stamps, but we have different types and we get new ones every time we have a new catalog. And they're really great to have. So I have all sorts of blob stamps, but they're great for texture. You could have used one of these stamps instead of doing the watercolor with the brush that I did. You could totally use one of these stamps instead. So I'm using the soft side of my cutting mat instead of the small foamy piece that comes with each of our stamps. And I am going to do tone on tone. So I'm going to use Glacier ink and put it on the light side of the Glacier cardstock. And I'm doing second generation, so it's going to be really, really light. And I'm just doing this as I go along. I'm going around all the edges, just making sure I'm covering everything in there. I forgot to do a second generation, which happens. Fortunately, I can cover this up with the North American continent. And I'm just adding this texture to make the oceans look something less than flat, which, you know, the oceans are not usually flat. So I'm adding the glacier texture, and I'll also do some texturing using White Daisy permanent, what is it? Pigment ink. That's what it is. It's pigment ink. And those are going to be the white caps. Now, none of this is going to show up real obvious. It's just really subtle background stuff. So I just wanted something more than just flat. And I tried this initially with a sponge and a brush. I totally didn't like the way it worked. And saw this by Tina Law. She gave me the idea to do the texturing using the stamp, which I had just purchased and hadn't used yet. So perfect use for it. Anyway, I'm going to continue texturing and add a little music here because it's got to be boring listening to me. So I'll be back on the other side. I'm back, and I just wanted to let you know that I'm cleaning off my stamps here. And we have a little brush and a spray cleaner to get out the inks from all the crevices of the stamps. And so it's a good idea to keep your stamps in good order, and if you clean them as when you use them, which I managed to leave that one with the the one stamp there, then you're not going to contaminate your other stamp pads. And you especially don't want to use a darker ink on a lighter stamp pad and contaminate it. So anyway, it's a good idea to go ahead and clean the stamps after you use them. So what I'm doing right now is I'm taking the zip strip from one of the background and texture papers and attaching it to the top and bottom of the airplane, the paper airplane paper. And just to add a little interest, they're triangles. They don't really say one thing one way or another. They just bring a little interest. And I'm going to take a striped 1/4 inch border off of the bottom of the sticker, the 12 by 12 sticker sheet, and put it on top of the bottom zip strip. So I'm just having to trim a little bit off because the paper airplane paper had to be cut down to 11.5. So I had to take 1/4 inch off all the way around to accommodate the background paper that is showing, 1/4 inch all the way around. And so I'm just kind of testing out what I'm going to do, how I'm going to handle the my dark blob there. And see, I can put North America on top of it, and it'll be fine. So that's what I'm going to do. So now, oh, and let me just tell you that when I did the white stamping, I put it down and then I did a little bitty twist to it. So there's a little movement to the white stamping. You can't really see it very well at all, but you can see it in real life. And so there's just a little bit of twist to it. And I did that because I don't know, I guess I grew up on the water and saw a lot of white caps, and nothing's neat and perfect out there. So I am going to use a double stick foam tape to put on my ocean. And close to my heart has a package that has probably about 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch double stick foam tape, which works out. The 1/4 inch works out perfectly. The 1/2 inch is too wide for our continents. So I am going to run this all the way around the edge of the paper. So it's going to take a little while. I'm using like maybe 1/2 inch cuts so that if you get too long, it's going to come off the edge of the ocean. And so that 1/2 inch or thereabouts is just enough to kind of keep it on the paper, on the cardstock. Okay, I'm nearing the end here, and just a few more pieces and I'll have this circle. I have to say this was a little tedious. This was the tedious part. And I have just a itty bitty piece to go, and I cut a piece that's too big, of course. So there, we put that in there, and then we're all finished. Yay! And I used probably 1/3 to 1/2 of the roll of the double stick foam. So now I'm going to make the top part of the shaker. Taken a page protector. I'm cutting off all of the closed pieces, the sealed edges, and I'm going to cut it to the diameter of the circle is about almost 10, so I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger than 10. And of course, when I cut all the sealed pieces off, then I have actually put that right out of the in the view. I've got 2 pieces of the page protector left, so I'll use one for this, and then one can be sitting aside for another time that I want to make a shaker, like for a birthday party. That could be a big balloon. It could be just fun in the sun, with a beach setting. I mean, you could do all sorts of fun things with a shaker card. So don't forget to pull out your anti-static pad and go over the cardstock and the page protector that is going to be facing the sequins. So you don't want them to stick. You want to get rid of the, what do you call that stuff? Static electricity. So now I'm going to take off I'm going to continue to take off all of the covering of the double stick foam. And what I would suggest here is to get out your tweezers and pull them off with your tweezers, because what is happening to me is my fingernails keep on getting stuck to the foam tape. So I probably pulled one of the pieces off of there. I don't know. So anyway, you have to put a piece back. Okay, so that's what I would suggest. I just didn't have my tweezer handy. I thought I had it right there at my table, but so I couldn't see it right off the bat. So that's what I would do there. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put in the sequins, and I put in quite a few. I mean, the more the merrier, right? So I think that's good. And after I put the sequins on, then I take my page protector sheet, my single sheet, and I'm going to put that over the circle. And the problem is I laid it down. I tried to lay it down flat. That's not the way to do it. Start off at one side and just kind of work your way over, because now I've got a little puffy fold in one area that I can't get out. So you just want to do it a little bit at a time and ease it on down the road there. So now you flip it over, and you're going to cut off all the excess plastic, and then you'll have yourself a shaker. And the only thing that we have to do now is to put the continents on top of our ocean, and we'll have a giant shaker for our page. I mean, I have to tell you, I never would have come up with an idea to do a very large shaker for a page, but what fun. I mean, this would be so cute for a kid's birthday party, to have a big old shaker on a page for, birthdays. That would just be too cute. I've taken my espresso ink and I just ran the edge of the paper. I glued the continents down by putting Tombow on that outside edge there, and that worked just fine. So you didn't really see that, somehow that got lost. And so I'm putting the picture holder down on top of the espresso cardstock, and then I'm going to put a little bit cattywampus, the espresso cardstock, on top of the cute little plaid that goes with this. So all the greens and the blues look so pretty together. So that is going to, I think I went to find, the sticker sheet that has the peach colored cardstock, and I'm going to take that little, sort of like a little journaling sticker, and I'm going to cut off the peach edges and just kind of highlight or zip up the color of the blues and greens and browns together. So I'm just going to put it up there and then put the other one on the one side. Not a whole lot, just a little hint of peach, just to add a little contrast to the darker espresso and the blues and greens, which are pretty subtle. So this just adds a little, a little cheeriness to the picture. So, and peach is a color that can go with so much, so it's not like it would interfere with your picture. So I'm just putting the, and I'm having a hard time doing it, putting the excuse me, peach strip in place. Trying hard. I really need to do these things before I stick stuff down. What do you think? Oh my goodness. Hello, Dorothy. Sometimes I look at my videos and it scares me. Okay, so just stick it down. There you go. Now cut that off. Okay, you got it. Get it in there. Woohoo! Okay, there we go. There's my little cattywampus picture holder. So look at how this is really turning out. Now I tell you what I wish I had done. Okay, so I'm doing the edges of the circles in the espresso. And what I really wish, I put that picture holder over too far to the left and covered up my ocean on the left-hand side of the globe. And I really wish I had put it more, not to the center, but I think I was too worried about showing too much of Florida. Anyway, it would have been nicer to see the ocean rather than the continent. So I'm putting the dark brown edge on all of these so they stick out from the paper airplane background. And instead of, the other thing Jennifer did was she stamped 3 of these little teardrop stamps that have a heart in them. And she cut them out and made them a 3-dimensional object. I ended up not doing that I just did it on one. But on the others, I stamped them directly onto the circles there, because they were going to get set on top of the circles. And I thought, well, those circles are blank. Let's just go ahead and stamp that cute little stamp on the circle. And so there's the little teardrop heart, and it's going to get stamped in, guess what, espresso. So it stamps very nicely too. I mean, it just did a seasoning on my skin, which is disgusting, but it works really good to season the stamp that way. So I'm going to stamp one on a small circle, and see how nicely that stamps? And then the other one is going to get stamped at the bottom of the big circle. So there we go. And I'll stamp another one and cut it out, and that will go on the North American continent. And then those little circles will also get some sequins to go on them at the very end. And this is nearing a close here. So, I have to tell you, I was a little intimidated by this giant shaker, and I had to read it over and over and over again, and it still wasn't, making headway in the old cobwebs. And, so now I'm happy. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be, so I'm glad of that. And I'm doing the placement here, and see, I covered up the whole ocean over there. The Pacific is gone. Why did I do that? I don't know. I might have to try to lift it up later on and see if I can move it over to show more of the Pacific. So, because it's just the whole thing, the whole shaker thing is just too cute for words. So anyway, this is what I'm doing. Sometimes I can't think super clearly while I'm actually doing and taping at the same time. It's just more than the little brain can handle. So I'm using pop-ups to put my picture placement picture holder down, and see, if I had just put it right there before. Now, why did I do that? Why did I do that? I'm gonna have to move it. Hopefully I can pull it up without ruining anything. Oh, if only. And then I realized that I think that I put my globe on there kind of whopper-jawed. It should be more over to it should kind of turn around a little bit clockwise. Anyway, I guess we're not about being perfect, right? I keep on saying that, and boy, I sure prove it every time. Okay, so that's, for the most part, that's it, except for the sequins. And, oh yeah, I forgot about the sticker. So this is also on the sticker sheet. And it says, I think it says, "Take me with you." And those little arrows go on the picture, which, that's cute. And why do I have this off the screen? See, there's too much going on that I forget to... I'm looking at the screen thinking that everything is showing, and it's not. Oh, Calgon, take me away. That's what it should say. Okay, so I'm just trimming up that sticker, and I'm going to put it under the picture and over some of South America. And then I'm going to decorate it with... Jennifer used a little... I think she cut up one of the... pieces that was left on the sticker sheet that had the stripes in it to match the stripes above the lower zip strip. And I wanted to use, I have some bronze, which is going to go with the espresso, but I've got some bronze shimmer tape, and I'm going to cut it in half on my Fiskars and run it along the Take Me With You, just to add a little glitz and glamour to that strip. Hopefully you'll see it at the end of this video. And I show you the whole page instead of just working off screen here. So here's my Fiskars, and this is what I do. I take the clear backing off the tape. I cut a piece of the shimmer trim. I take the clear backing off, and then I stick it along the cutting groove, and I try to center it in between the two lines there, the 2/4 inch marks on either side of the cutting groove. And when I do that, and I run my blade over it, then I get a nice skinny strip of shimmer trim, and there it is at the bottom. So, and then I added those little things that say "Going Places," "What a Great Day," "Unforgettable." Those are from one zip strip that has those printed on them going across, and I just cut them apart and made them little banners. And put my cutout heart and pinpoint teardrop thing. So there's my picture. I hope you like it. I had fun doing it. I really did. And thank you, Jennifer Smith, for coming up with these wonderful, wonderful layouts. And I guess I'm just going to add a little bit more because, you know, too much glitz is not enough. Perfect place to put it. So I really enjoyed doing this. I hope that if you got the papers, or even if you want to use some other papers, that you get some use out of these videos to show you how to do this. I think the layouts are great. I think she did a beautiful job designing them, and we are so lucky to have her on our team with Close to My Heart. So, I mean, how cool is this? It's really cool. And there's what hers looked like. And see, there's mine. Couple of little things that are different, but I'm happy. Whoops, forgot to stick that dude down. There's always one more thing, right? Always. Oh my gosh. This is what keeps my humility in place. Okay, that's it. That's all she wrote. I'm done. Really, I am. There we go. And let's see, does it shake? It shakes. Come on, move around there. There they go. So fun. Just so fun. Thank you, everybody. Please subscribe. Give me a like if you think I'm worth it. Bye-bye.